Hey everybody, back again. Just wanted to give you a quick little update of what's been going on, how my prep is progressing, and also a big part of prepping and dieting, which is your diet breaks. So I haven't had a diet break as such, but I just thought I'd run you through the emotions of doing a prep when it comes to hunger and stuff like that and what can kind of happen. So it was my birthday last week. So I went out and did bowling instead for my birthday, which is great fun. So it's always good to, like, if you are dieting, trying to find other things to do, which I covered in my last video, which was a couple of tips on what else you can do rather than just going out for a meal. Unfortunately, at the time, my family was hungry, so they all went to the pub and ate. So I had to sit there and not have food, which isn't ideal, but unfortunately it is a fact of life when you are prepping. If you are dieting though, there is ways around this, as I covered in my last video, having things like steak, things that are easy to track. But I will come back to hunger. So at the moment I'm around about 1,700 calories, which is fine. It's probably what a regular person does eat. I am starting to get a little bit hungry though, considering at the moment. Also for my birthday, I got an Apple Watch, which I'm absolutely delighted with. My boyfriend bought that for me, so I'm like over the moon with it. But it's starting to track what I'm burning per day, which is roughly 2,200 calories to 2,300 calories. So I'm probably in a 600 calorie deficit, which means that for my body to maintain where it is and not be hungry, I needed an extra 600 calories in my diet, which I'm not having, which alternately gives me fat loss, so which is a big part of prep. So yeah, I'm quite hungry at the moment. I went to a friend's baby shower on the weekend. Absolutely beautiful day, loved it. But I won a bottle of gummy babies. So people who have been to baby showers, you can win games and stuff like that, get lollies as prizes. Normally not a big deal. But at that point in time, it was a big deal for me. So I'd seen a lot of people eating brownies and caramel slices and cake and all that sort of stuff. And when you are hungry and you're used to kind of picking up those things as a pick-me-up, it is quite easy to go and grab it. And when I was at home, and this is something that I've done before, when I was at home and I was with my daughter, I grabbed a couple of her gummy babies. So not really stealing candy from a baby, but, and I ate them. Afterwards, I felt quite bad, but kind of like I just wanted to keep having more. Like I could have easily gone back to the bottle and shoved a whole nother handful in my mouth. So that's the moment that I knew I'd fucked up. That's the moment that once you have that sugar, you kind of want more, which isn't great in your prep, and it isn't great for anyone who is dieting. So if you do have that moment where you're like, oh shit, I want this, you'll either feel like shit later, or you'll be like, oh, I could just go for more. And you just keep eating and eating and eating, and then you can undo all the bad work you did. So, undo all the good work that you've been doing. So after I had a couple of gummy babies, whatever they were, there can be a couple of reactions that people can have. When people are prepping, and generally in the female world, I can't generalize that. What we can see is people, if they overeat and stuff like that, a general reaction is to go and throw it up. I didn't do this. I'm not condoning that sort of behavior in any sort of sense. So people can have a couple of different reactions when they have these sorts of things. They can go and exercise, try and burn all of that off, put themselves in more of a calorie deficit for the rest of the week. Throw it up, try anything to undo their mistakes. But when it comes to doing these things, and it's something that I've had to learn over time as well, is you just kind of have to roll with the punches. It's been done. There's nothing you can do about it now. So best thing to do is just move forward. So for the rest of the day, kept my food as normal. I did get rid of the gummy babies. They are no longer in my house. But it's something you need to have willpower. But when you don't have that willpower, you can't have those sorts of things in your house. But I think a bigger picture thing is don't feel bad about doing these things. Like, don't make it such a bad thing that it's like, okay, well, I got to do all of this to combat what I've just done. Just move on. Yes, your weight may shift for a week, but you need to make bigger changes for this to be, if you are dieting, as a lifestyle thing rather than it just being, oh, okay, well, each week I'm going to have one big blowout and then it's fine. I'll eat 1,000 calories for the rest of the week. It's not realistic and it's not maintainable. So what this evidently came down to was hunger. So there are 3 different stages of hunger. You can have situational hunger, which was what I was in. Because of the situation I was put in with my friends, I was in around all of this food. That's why I was hungry. I wasn't actually hungry. I'd eaten that day and I'd eaten a fair amount as well. It was purely just because I was in a situation that there were all these foods that all I really wanted was to fit in. And then you'll have an actual taste hunger. So it'll be a food that you miss. So same with the sugar, kind of goes hand in hand, because you haven't had it for so long. You just kind of crave that tasting. So you're not actually hungry. And then there's clearly the 3rd stage, which is when you actually are hungry. But the other 2 you do need to be quite mindful of if you are trying to stick to any sort of lifestyle change, any sort of healthy eating. These things are going to happen. As a bigger picture, you can kind of combat them. Go and like I've said before, go and have a burger. Make sure you track it. If you're going to have lollies, just make sure it fits within your macronutrient targets for the week. For the day. So as a whole, all I really wanted to do was be really honest. That was the whole point of doing this process. So I fucked up. I will be the first one to admit it. I'm happy to say that it's happened. I did move on from it. But it is a big learning curve for anyone doing this. You do need to be mindful of the situations you're putting yourself and mindful of the foods that are around you. This is when prep comes in handy, prepping your food, making sure that you always have constant snacks, things around you. The biggest one for me, because I love my sugary foods. I've got a massive sweet tooth. I do blame my parents for that, but that's beside the point. So what I will do is make sure that I always have like 10 cans of Coke Zero in my fridge. Now, I've got no problem with people drinking Coke Zero. Some people will be like, no, that stuff's going to give you cancer, blah, blah, blah. I don't mind drinking Coke Zero because it actually combats that sweetness that I need and will keep me on track. So if I do need to go somewhere, if I'm going to a friend's house and everyone's having pizza and having sweets and stuff like that, I'll take a couple of cans of Coke Zero over and just make sure that I'm eating my meals. That way I've still got a soft drink. I've still got some sort of sugary taste, even though it's got nothing in it. The other one is sugar-free cordial that I'll have a lot of to make sure that my sweet tooth and that sort of part of my brain is fine, and that it's kind of being satisfied by that. So anyway, just wanted to be really honest with you guys. diet breaks, people who will look at food and just, yeah. So I just wanted to be really, really honest with you guys. But yeah, that's all that's going on with me for the moment. 10 weeks out, so prep's starting to get a little bit scary. It's quickly approaching, and I don't feel like I'm anywhere near ready. But that'll be over the next, I'm guessing probably like 4 weeks. I still won't feel ready. So a big part of dieting down is you can always think that you're not ready. If you've lost a certain amount of weight, you might be like, oh, it's not enough. But you need to be content with the process. If it's not enough for you and you want to keep going, by all means, go ahead. Just don't get to the point that you're actually killing your body. But with prepping, you need to trust the process, which is something that's very, very hard for me. I like things to be done here, now, done that second. But yeah, so I need to trust the process, and I am really enjoying this prep and having a coach and having someone who is able to guide me on what I'm doing, because it's allowing me to trust the process a little bit more. So anyway, that's all from me this week. I've got a couple of other videos to upload, but my internet has been an absolute pain. Anywho, I will let you all go. I'll fill you in a couple of days and upload my next video. All right, see you guys.